Scott Young is known for his ability to learn quickly and master complex subjects in impressive timeframes. Using his methodology, which combines strategic preparation, disciplined focus, targeted practice, and continuous improvement, it is possible not only to accelerate learning, but also to deeply absorb the knowledge of great philosophers and their ideas. Applying this technique to the study of philosophy can transform the way we understand and internalize the thoughts of great minds, helping us to connect these ideas to our daily lives and expand our intellectual horizon. Just as planning a long hike requires mapping out routes and preparing supplies, studying philosophy begins with good preparation. This involves identifying the fundamental pillars, such as the basic concepts that serve as a basis for understanding more complex thoughts. As Socrates said, "An unexamined life is not worth living." This phrase reminds us of the importance of starting learning with introspection and planning, defining what we want to understand about ourselves and the world. To do this, it is essential to draw up a learning map that includes the essential topics, such as ethics, metaphysics, and epistemology, as well as introductory texts, such as Plato's The Republic, before moving on to denser works, such as Heidegger's Being and Time. Setting clear goals is another vital part of this preparation. If the aim is to understand Aristotelian ethics, for example, you should start by exploring the concepts of virtue and eudaimonia, fulfillment, before diving into the practical application of his ideas. Similarly, when studying Descartes, understanding his maxim, "I think, therefore I am," as a starting point for a broader analysis of methodical doubt can avoid future confusion. However, as Young warns, excessive preparation can lead to procrastination. Planning too much without acting is like remaining in the Socratic idea of questioning, without ever taking the necessary action to find answers. That's why it's crucial to limit the pre-learning phase to 10% of the total study time, creating a balance between planning and executing. When it comes to the learning process itself, the approach needs to be efficient and in-depth, using the three main pillars: focus, direction, and directed practice. The study of philosophy requires full attention, as great ideas demand careful reflection and concentration. As Nietzsche said, "Whoever has a why to live for can endure almost any how." This maxim reflects the power of focus, as having clarity of purpose makes it easier to maintain concentration during learning. To maximize focus, it is essential to eliminate external distractions, such as environmental interruptions, and internal distractions, such as doubts and anxieties. Practicing mindfulness, perhaps through meditation, can be a powerful tool, as Jung himself suggests. A practical example is the study of Nietzsche. When delving into challenging concepts such as the eternal return or the Superman, dedicate specific blocks of time, such as 25 to 50 minutes, to reading and deep meditation. During these sessions, eliminate external interruptions and reflect on how these concepts can apply to your life. Also, divide the study into smaller parts. When studying Beyond Good and Evil, for example, focus on first understanding Nietzsche's critique of traditional morality before moving on to his proposals for re-evaluating human values. In addition to focus, it is essential that learning has a clear direction. Philosophy is not just theoretical, it must be practical and transformative. As Kant wrote, "Experience without theory is blind, but theory without experience is mere intellectual play." This phrase reminds us to connect philosophical ideas to the real world. For example, when studying Plato's Allegory of the Cave, reflect on how it relates to the current challenges of disinformation on social media. Ask yourself, who are the prisoners of the cave in the modern context? And how can the enlightened help others to see the light? Writing summaries or critical analyses is also a practical way of consolidating learning. After reading Machiavelli's The Prince, for example, you could write a text analyzing how the concepts of power and leadership apply to today's corporate environment. In addition, actively engaging with ideas through debates and discussions broadens understanding. If you've studied Kantian ethics, try explaining your ideas about the categorical imperative to someone else and debating how it applies to modern moral dilemmas, such as the use of artificial intelligence. Practicing philosophy is not just reading, but applying knowledge. An example would be using the principles of John Stuart Mill's utilitarian ethics to evaluate a real dilemma, such as the allocation of resources in public health systems. This kind of directed practice allows the concepts to be internalized, connecting them to the real world in a meaningful way. The last stage of Scott Young's method is continuous improvement, where knowledge reaches a level of intuitive application, as the great philosophers did. As Aristotle said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, therefore, is not an act, but a habit. Consolidating learning through continuous rereading, revision, and practice is essential for transforming knowledge into practical wisdom. In addition, this stage involves creativity and innovation. Just as Nietzsche challenged traditional values and proposed new ways of thinking, you can use your philosophical base to propose solutions to contemporary issues. After studying existentialists such as Kierkegaard and Sartre, for example, you could reflect on what makes life meaningful in the 21st century, articulating your conclusions in an essay or video. Just as the great philosophers used their observations of the world to create systems of thought, you can use philosophy to develop new perspectives and apply creative solutions to modern challenges.